So that chapter is important, and then I have a chapter which helps people understand how they need to go about trying to identify things. If you notice on the Antiques Roadshow, they always tell a story about where the experts will ask, where did it come from? How long has it been in the family? Where did you buy it? And those are keys that they use to evaluating a collectible. In each chapter, I have a little section called What the Expert Knows, and it's similar to
just in a box?
Kind of, but it's similar to what those experts on Roadshow look for when they look at an item. So what I've tried to do is help people understand some of these things so that they will be able to look at their own collections and decide, do I have something here that I should call Sotheby's about?
Right,
should I look further into it? Or do I have something here that is more likely something for eBay that I can, or something for a garage sale?
When you sort through an estate, do you think you should always bring professional people in to help you?
Well, I've tried to give people some information to start with and then evaluate whether they need a professional or they need an expert. Yes.
What to keep and what to throw away and what to sell. Or
if you have an item that really needs an expert evaluation. I have a story in the book, which is a true story a friend of my mother's told me about a lady who had some chairs in her basement that she was going to give away. And actually they wound up in the Yale University Museum of Decorative Arts.
Oh, wow.
They were Herman Miller modern chairs from the 50s, and the thing is, in that case, she didn't really know at first that that was something she should have an expert look at. So it's important to get a feeling for what is going on in the marketplace in collectibles and learn a little bit about some of the areas of things that have been going up.
You have a lot of suggestions in the back of the book about what to read and who to go to, and I mean, it's a great source material. One of the things that we are dealing with what is collectible, I mean, you said people are collecting cell phones. That's pretty bizarre.
I was just talking to somebody that said he had old radios, and I didn't know anything about radios, and I looked them up on eBay, and I found some of them going for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. These antique Zenith radios from the 30s, and some of them from the 50s were very unusual. I mean, this is every day I'm finding about more things that I didn't know about, and I wrote this book, and I'm still finding about things I don't know are valuable.
So what should we collect? Pens?
Pens are very exciting. I mean, there's a lot going on with pens.
But pens are almost out of date now. So those are something. Cell phones, that's something that we're using every day.
I was excited about these radios. I mean, that was something I had really never looked into. I heard that in Japan, people are buying 1950s kitchen equipment, those kitchen blenders and things like that. There's a couple of wonderful galleries out in Santa Monica, and I went into one of those recently, and I saw that they were selling a lot of old industrial equipment, pieces of cranes, pieces of machinery, and some artists were working with these things and making sculptures and things like that out of them, but yet I think there must be a market for that.
Make tables out of them.
Possibly.
Well, I can't even fathom, because there's so much to collect, and people have such great eyes and such great inspiration about saying collecting. I mean, when they started collecting postcards, that was like nothing. Who would collect a postcard? But those are great collections now.
Definitely. There was a great guy that came out on Roadshow, was a year or two ago, where this man had been doing home remodeling, and that was his business, and he was knocking out a wall in a home, and he found these food cans with labels. They were from the turn of this very early part of the 20th century, but all very pristine. I don't remember if they had food in them or what happened with that, but this man eventually became an expert on this type of advertising memorabilia. Now he's writing a book.
Now don't call the thrift shop, Susanna Ryder. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back with Cindy Robinson. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. I'm with actress, singer, performer Cindy Robinson, who was born and raised in Oklahoma. By the time she was 19, she'd attended Oklahoma City University and transferred to, as she says, the School of Hard Knocks in New York City. It wasn't so bad because the first year you were on Broadway.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Actually, it was even better than that. The Cinderella story starts 9 months earlier. I was in New York for 3 weeks. I went to an audition. I waited 7 hours in the rain. It was just yucky. And I got my equity card. I did Candide in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right?
I was there for 3 weeks. And 9 months after that, I got Into the Woods on Broadway.
That's amazing. So you auditioned for it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Were you taking in your various travels throughout Oklahoma, and you said you went to so many different schools. Were you a drama major? Were you a singer? Were you doing those kind of classes?
I was a musical theater major. Oklahoma City University was one of the first universities across the country to offer a musical theater major. So we were trained in voice, in dance, in acting, music theory, plus all of your regular academics.
But let's go back a minute, Cindy. You were only there 3 semesters.
Yeah.
You were on your way to New York.
I got my first professional job when I was 15.
Is that oh? So you already were doing. You already knew what you were doing.
My dad was
Were
in
you
the
any
business.
taller than you are now?
Oh no.
You were the same size?
I was the same size. I'm 4'11", and people always say it's such a big voice, and I'm like, it's mirrors. It's all done with mirrors.
Oh no, it's like this Ethel Merman voice, right? Have you done any of her plays?
Anna, get your gun.
Oh, there you are.
There you go.
A redhead too.
A redhead, right? That was Gwen Verdon. Oh my goodness.
But you have red hair. And
I
Gwen,
do.
And did you use your own hair?
I did. Actually, no. It was done in this like little Gibson girl wig, but
you did
and at
use
that
your
point, my hair was like this short all over my head.
But your father was in the business?
He was. He was a local celebrity in Oklahoma City. He did a lot of commercials and things like that out there.
Oh.
And there was a theater called Lyric Theater of Oklahoma, which was the only professional summer stock company in that area. And he was in the very first ensemble there. My mom was in the second. My Aunt Mary Ann was in like the 7th, I guess. And
So
then
that family
I
was-
came along right when I was 15.
Oh, so your family really knew how to get in and out. And you
Yeah.
were talented. Obviously, you have to be talented. And I've seen you on the stage. You are talented.
Thank you.
But after Candide and after, what was your first show?
Into the Woods.
Into the Woods. You did Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. Peter Pan.
You
I
were
played
the right
Wendy.
size for Peter Pan.
I know. I played Wendy and I covered Peter Pan. And at that point, we did the national tour and we did the Broadway company.
You did the Broadway company too. Did it get awards during that time?
It got nominated for Best Revival, and Kathy Rigby got nominated for Best Actress.
And you worked with Kathy? So were you rigged up?
Yes.
And how are you rigged up like that?
You're in a harness, and Wendy's in a harness the entire show. She flies in all 3 acts. And
So
it's,
you have, what's a harness?
a
Is it
harness
like
goes over the shoulder, around the waist,
Oh.
and up through the middle of the legs, and then it's got a gizmo on the back. That,
So it goes, your whole body is
Yes.
in, oh, it's not just your shoulders or your waist.
No, because it has to be able to support all of your weight. It's all balanced and all of that. And I've got the back injury to prove it.
Did you fall?
Didn't fall, but 2.5 years in a harness and being yanked up and flying, it kind of rearranged the way I stand.
You were 2 years in that?
2.5
years?
Yeah.
Oh, that was so great. So next we had Carousel. Oh, there was so much to talk to about. Right?
Carousel, with the brilliant Nick Heitner directing. People say that, and Audra McDonald, that was her big
And you were in
break.
with her?
I was, and she's delightful and fantastic, and what a great show that was, and what an honor to be a part of that. It was just groundbreaking.
What do you learn from those people? What do you learn from, say, Nick Heitner, or who was your other director that was so great? And
James Lapine.
Yeah.
Although I didn't really work with James Lapine.
but he got it together, the show.
Yeah, he directed that. Nick Heitner, the one thing that I learned about him that was from him that was so amazing was that a play isn't stars in an ensemble. A play is a world, and all it is a piece of sunlight shining down on 2 particular people, say. And those people shine a little bit brighter so you can hear what they say and see what they're doing a little bit more than the others. But if the rest of the